empowering families, understanding HIE brain injuries in babies, and the possible legal solutions that might be available for families. This is going to be a special video today because I'm going to take a whole bunch of smaller videos and put them together in one video. That way you can save this video, you can share this video, you can re-watch this video. All of this information, critical information, is going to be in one place for you. If you are new to this journey and you're new to my page, my name is Marcus Boston and I'm a birth injury lawyer. I've been practicing law now for almost 20 years, and what I do is I help families hold hospitals accountable when the hospitals have caused a baby's brain injury through medical malpractice, when medical malpractice has caused the baby's brain injury. So if it's something else, if it's genetics that's caused the injury or the HIE diagnosis, if it's developmental things that have caused the HIE injury, more than likely you're not going to be successful in a medical malpractice claim because medical malpractice did not cause the injury. Now, the purpose of this talk today is to explain to families that legal options are available when hospitals have caused the injury to the baby. So many families have no idea that this type of information is even available. And let's drill down a little bit further, especially when we're talking about Black families and other people of color or minority families. A lot of times they are forgotten in these discussions. And the reason I know this is because I talk with a lot of families. I talk with white families, I talk with Black families, I talk with Hispanic families, I talk with other minority families. And the minority families a lot of times tell me that this information is very hard to find and that they feel forgotten. And I also, as a Black man who is married to a Black woman who is my partner in here, my law partner, Renee, I also am in a unique position because I'm able to see the challenges specifically that Black women and other minorities face, especially in the medical field. We've got a lot of data now. We've got information in regards to these issues. For example, the maternal death rate for Black women is higher than a lot of other groups of women, than white women and other groups. When it comes to things like pain, minorities dealing with pain compared to other groups, compared to white women, the medical community in a lot of cases are looking at these issues, and there are problems with this. So the purpose of this talk is to allow you to understand the critical issues that are present when your baby has an HIE injury and what do we mean by medical malpractice. Now, to push even further, what is HIE? If you're new to this journey, you might not even have an idea of what is this HIE. When you were pregnant, going through that, you weren't probably thinking about HIE. HIE is hypoxic ischemic encephalopathy. And what this means in our context is a reduction or a cutoff of oxygenated blood, which can lead a baby to suffer a traumatic brain injury. It's a decrease or cutoff of oxygen, which can lead a baby to suffer a brain injury. Now, what are the signs and symptoms that a family might see that may put them on alert that their baby has suffered a traumatic brain injury? When we talk with families, a lot of times these are some of the common things that we hear. We hear that the baby was discolored. The baby had poor oxygen effort, if any effort at all. Baby not crying. Baby has handed over to the NICU. The NICU is already in the delivery room and already ready for handoff. Resuscitation has to take place. Oxygen is given to the baby. Poor APGAR scores are present. And a lot of times these babies will also, within either a couple of minutes or even a couple of hours or even the next day, you may see signs of seizure. You may see seizure activity, which is present. These types of things, if they have taken place or if your baby is dealing with these types of issues, then there's a good chance they may have suffered a traumatic brain injury. But your doctors, the medical professionals, they will be in a better position to tell you definitely whether your baby has suffered an HIE injury. Moving on from signs and symptoms, now we're going to talk about treatment. What types of treatment options are available for babies when they have suffered a traumatic brain injury, like this HIE injury? In a lot of cases now, what hospitals are doing is what we call hypothermia treatment. Hypothermia treatment is not necessarily a cure. It's not going to cure your baby, but what it does is it can slow down the injury. That's what it looks to do. It aims to slow down the injury. Hypothermia treatment, as long as the baby meets certain protocol and certain parameters, hypothermia cooling may be deployed. And finally, the legal options. What are the legal options? Well, in a lot of these cases, when we're talking about medical malpractice, this is a form of negligence. And to be able to tell you whether you can sue or move forward for your baby as it pertains to negligence, what we do here at Boston Law Group, LLC, what we do is we do a birth injury investigation first. And in that birth injury investigation, which, by the way, if you contact us and you want us to do a birth injury investigation for you as to the cause of your baby's traumatic brain injury, there is no monetary cost for you to talk with us about doing a birth injury investigation as to the cause of your baby's HIE injuries. No cost there. But what we want to do is we want to talk with you. We want to interview you. We want to get the facts as it pertains to your pregnancy, prenatal, what was going on? Were you making all of your appointments? Was gestational diabetes an issue? Did you have issues with your blood pressure? How was that going? And then we're going to move into, when you're at the hospital, we're going to talk about labor and delivery. What did the doctors talk with you about? Were there any concerns? Did you see anything? We want to get a factual basis set up so we can have a good idea as to the facts to be able to put the pieces of the puzzle together. Once we move on from there, we want to get your medical records. We want to get your records. We want to get baby's records. We want to get the readings from the electronic fetal heart monitor. We want to see prenatals if they are important. We want to also, if a placental pathology was done, we want to get that report. So we want to get these records, put this together, take a look at everything, and see whether, from a medical legal standpoint, where are we? Do we see a violation or a departure from the standard of care, which is what caused your baby's injury or harm? To be able to understand whether there's a departure from the standard of care causing your baby's harm, we use medical experts. And as a birth injury lawyer like myself, we know the type of experts that are going to be needed because this is what we do. So we may need OBGYNs. We may be a maternal fetal medicine specialist. We may need labor and delivery nurses. We may need a placental pathologist. We may need an economist. We may need a pediatric neuroradiologist, a whole host of these types of experts that we will use to be able to get the answers as to whether there was a departure from the standard of care causing your baby's injury, which is the traumatic brain injury or the HIE injury. And finally, when we're talking about these legal options, one of the big ones here is being able to help your baby live the best life possible for them, the best life possible. And to be able to do that, your baby is going to need cash. Your baby is going to need money. Let's just tell the truth. Your baby's going to need money. Why? Because it takes money to be able to buy the things that your child is going to need. If the house is going to need to be retrofitted, if you're going to need wheelchairs over the life over your baby's life, you're going to need certain types of therapies, treatments, all of these things. That is what we're looking to do when we are helping these families. We're looking to make sure that we can allow that baby to live the best life that they can possible. If you're on TikTok and you're watching this video right now on some of my other social media platforms and you want to send me a DM as to these issues, feel free to go ahead and do that. Like I said earlier, there's no monetary cost to reach out to me and talk with me about your baby story. If you're watching this video right now and you're on YouTube, there's a telephone number down below. You want to call my office, you want to talk with us again, just like with the DM issue on TikTok and the other social media platforms. It's no monetary cost for you to initially talk with us about your baby story. When you talk to my office, just make sure that you, when you talk to my secretary, that you leave a good phone number. You give a good phone number and you also get on our calendar so we can be able to know when to call you back. So you want to make sure that you pick a good date and a time on our calendar. In addition to that, make sure you leave them a good email address for you because sometimes we have to correspond with you through email and we want to make sure that we're corresponding with you on email at an account that you check frequently. And finally, before I get out of here, I practice law here in the state of Maryland. And I know we will have individuals who will contact us. They are in the United States, but they may not be in Maryland. If that is you, just understand that we have to use what we call co-counsel or local counsel. In other words, a lawyer in your state. And that's something that we can look to work to help you with. But I just want to make sure that you understand that co-counsel or local counsel aspect of things. If you contact us and you're looking for help and you are not here in the state of Maryland. All right, that's going to be it for tonight's educational video. Again, I'm Marcus Boston, and I'm one of the childbirth injury and medical malpractice lawyers practicing law here in the state of Maryland at Boston Law Group, LLC. We'll talk with you next time. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day.